Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Himanshu Adhikari, and the thing that I'm focusing on right now is to help you guys understand the fundamental concept of OOPS. That is basically object-oriented programming language. And by the end of this video, I want you guys to have a good grasp about all these things of how these things work fundamentally, how these things are working, how you guys are connecting the dots together in order to work better. So let's start from the very basic details. Okay, this would be these 4 5 videos would be a language agnostic because I want guys to understand it in a theoretical way, like a real life entity way, because these Java, Python, JavaScript, every language is basically trying to contact us. They can't uh, talk to the computer design in direct English, so they try us to understand what we have to do through the different codes, and then we can implement. If you are able to picture it in your brain, you can easily implement it in your system. Okay, this is the ideology, but I want you guys to understand and try to build a picture like what things are working with, how are working, how we are working, how we are making sure that we are getting the output that we exactly the same output that we need. So before starting on, I would need you guys some prerequisites about what is a class. Okay, if I type what is a class in computer language, it would typically say class is a template or a blueprint. Okay, for creating objects. According to the ChatGPT, the objects are the main entities, but according to me, the data attributes are the main entity that represents the state of an object. Moving forward, when you get to know about all these fundamental principle of OOPS, you can actually, on top of this, get to understand the low-level designing that would definitely help you understand the solid principles. Once you get the grasp of both these things, you guys can easily build a repository layer, a service layer, and an entity layer, which would help you guys to make backend codes for these big ass apps. Okay, because any small detail is the major detail for a big project. So the language agnostic thing that I was talking about, let's take a real life example. So moving forward, what we guys are gonna do is we are gonna take some real life scenarios. We're gonna take the same real life scenarios and put them into computer line also and understand it better. So before starting on, I want you guys to know the meaning of classes. A class is basically is like a bank form. A bank form is something where you can put up a request for taking the money out, but depositing the money. There are different type of forms, though basically a class is also design of where you can implement all these things, create objects, and make the objects interact with each other. It totally revolves around the objects. Okay, but the data attributes are the main thing. So in a class, we have data attributes that defines the state, and then we have the constructors, and then we have some default constructors, and we also have some parameterized constructors. These are all the things that are the prerequisites that I want you guys to make um, a side background study in all these things. Like take hardly 5 to 10 minutes to conquer anything like this. Once you get to know about all these two, you get to know about constructor telescoping. Okay, so these are the things that you should know. Well, we can like right click source, generate constructors, generate getters and setters that are like lambda functions take care of all these things. Okay, with all these annotations, the boilerplate codes. Basically, we call these things the boilerplate codes. So I want you guys to have a like light one or 5 to 10 minutes of detailed study about all these things. Then we have the getters, then we have the setters, and then we have the methods to make use of all these things that we have initialized above. This is the basic things that are the prerequisites for this. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is Class is basically a fundamental layout where we can implement different things. The different things, what are the different things? These are the different things. The data attributes, for example, if I have a class as an animal, then I would have a string of type of that animal, constructor that would point that animal to the animal that we are referring to, because there is random memory allocation. Okay, there are chunks of memory available. We just initialize in uh, char, float, any type of variable, and it randomly allocates it with some kind of hash code that is available associated with some type of id. Okay, that is a completely different topic. We will talk about that too, but that is what we call the data attributes. That is why we need a constructor to exactly point it, to tell the code key what exactly it is pointing towards. The getters, that getters are nothing just to get the value. Okay, and we have setters are the volatile ones, the moderators that basically sets the value and all. Here's a will structure that includes, okay, so it just gave us an example. So we have a class car, we have its brand, we have its model, we have its speed, and we have a default constructors that says this dot brand is equals to unknown, this dot model is equals to unknown. So it is not pointing it towards anything, it is pointing it towards an unknown entity. But we have one more parameterized constructor that has an acceptance of parameters like string brand, string models, int speed. Then this dot brand is it points the random allocated brand to the actual brand that we would be using. And then same goes for the model, it points the model to the actual model. Same goes for the speed, it points the speed to the actual speed. And what is telescoping? I'll give you guys a brief idea about it. What if the incomings that we are getting has only two of these, or have only this? So technically our code would fail if we have a parameterized and a default constructor like this. But what if we also had a constructor that accepts only two parameters? Then this constructor would be called, and it would set the values like this. So this is what we call telescoping of constructor using constructor chaining. Constructor chaining is nothing, just binding it to the values that are provided over here in our telescoped constructor. Then we have the getters and setters. Getters are doing nothing, they are just accepting a string of get brand and returning us the actual brand. Okay, and here are the setters are the modifiable, right? I told you guys it is used to set, it does not return anything, it is a void method, but it sets, accepts a string of brand and points that using this dot, this basically बोलना कि यही वाला है. Okay, so we have the, and this every attribute is going to have its own constructors, has its own getters or setters. Okay, three of them. Now we have the behaviors. What are the behaviors? So we have a function that is accelerate, that defines, that adds plus 10 speed and basically tells us the model and the calibrated speed. Same goes for the break. Break say we reduce the speed to -10, and then from the main method, when we will make an object of our car1, and we will do car1 dot display info. So the output that we would be getting is, so the output that we would be getting for this is, we did our plus 10 speed, we did a -10 speed. When we display the speed, it becomes 0. And system dot out, we would display the model, we would display the speed. The model is, we are not setting anything, we are just displaying the info. And then in the second one, we are passing Tesla model S and the speed 50. And this is how we are accepting, right? Yes, the speed is 50, we did a minus plus in the speed remains same, and same goes for this one, same goes for this one. We can cross check the output. So see, the first is unknown because it is calling the default one, the speed 0 because we did a plus 10 and a minus 10. Same goes for the Tesla Model S. The second time we provided the model name and the whatever the second constructor told us to. And the third one was the speed, right? The second one was model. So yes, so same goes for everything. Now you get the idea of it, okay, how these things are important. So this Now the next video lecture is gonna be talking about encapsulation. Encapsulation, you would guys understand what is this private, what is this public, and what is protected. These are basically the access modifier that we would study and talk about in encapsulation. So see you guys in next video.